Fran, I have a riddle for you. Okay. What pattern can use a large directional fabric plus a stripe?
Oh, I don't know. What?
Our quilt of the month for October. Hi, it's Hannah.
And Fran Morgan with Fabric Café.
It's time for our next quilt of the month. And you know, I think this is becoming one of my favorite series that we do.
I would have to agree with you. It has been so much fun seeing all the quilt and getting all the inspiration from you.
Yes, absolutely. So we've got a really great slideshow at the end with all of these different pictures from you guys. So we're gonna share that, but first, let's check out our quilt. And our quilt of the month for October is Garden Path. This is a really good one if you need something really quick. We have a nice big block here where you can put a large focus print. It also accommodates directional fabric. Our secondary block is made with strip piecing where you cut little units off and then you just put a rectangle in the middle of them to get that nice block. And I love the way that these corners meet up right here, so it kind of gives this 3D effect. It's a really great quilt, goes together super fast. Let's look at all the fabric we've got for you. We're gonna walk through how to make this pattern just so you can see how easy it is.
Yes.
First off, the first thing you're gonna cut is a block. Dun, da, da.
I love that. No, there's nothing easier than a block, a square.
It's perfect, especially if you've got a square ruler. Just knock through those.
Goes super fast.
So you can put this on your big block, and we do still have all of our seam allowances on, so they'll end up a little bit bigger than what's on the quilt. But this is great because you're cutting this independently, you can use a directional fabric.
That's true.
Because you can turn your block whichever way it needs to go.
That's perfect. I love this pattern for that reason.
Makes it super easy. And then another great thing about this pattern is you can use a stripe in your number 3 or your number 2. But I love it in your number 3 position. So to make this block, you start off with a strip assembly.
Super simple.
Put a little piece of paper on here. And I'm gonna turn it around so you can see we've got our number 3, number 2, just so long strips together. And then, as Fran likes to say, we're gonna cut off a piece of pizza. And I love
like pizza.
Yeah, exactly. I guess if you're more of a pie person, you could do that too. You cut off a piece of pie. You're gonna cut a bunch of these. And then you're going to rotate one. Boop, boop. And then all you do is you cut a little rectangular piece of that fabric number 2 and sew it in between them so you get this little corners right here.
Easy. And your stripe falls exactly perfect.
Yes, because you're turning it all the way around.
It works.
So it doesn't matter. It always is going to fall correctly.
That's great.
And it's on your border, and that's going to fall really nicely too.
Love that.
I love a stripe on
I do. Oh, I love a stripe on the border. I love a stripe, period.
Yes. So we have the finished block.
Very fun.
And I'm going to overlap this one on top just a little bit so you can see it together.
Fun. I love this fabric too that you're using for your pieces and parts.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's very pretty. This is going to go together super fast.
Because especially if you chain piece, you can just start getting in a roll, just go down. So all of your one side's on, and then
oh yeah,
it's going to be easy peasy. You're gonna. This will be done in a day.
And we love that.
Yes, absolutely. So let's take a look at this fabric up close. So we have our beautiful floral for our number 1, which I think is gorgeous. It's almost watercolor, but also it's very artistic.
It is. It has, for some reason, and I can't put my finger on it, it does look like it's lit up.
Yes.
I don't know why, but the way the background is done and the jewel tones of the flowers, it just looks
And all of the highlighting on it too, it makes it look like it's like backlit
illuminated.
And glowing. Yes. So this is going to be everywhere you see our chickens here and our big blocks. Then our number 2 is this beautiful textured, kind of linen textured purple. And that's going to go everywhere you see this orange. So it'll be a really nice backdrop for our floral.
And I like that we're trying to incorporate more color in our backgrounds as well.
Yeah.
It's still our lightest fabric of the 2 remaining, but it works so well.
Yes. Yeah, don't be afraid to use a color for your number 2. And then our number 3 is this fantastic stripe. And it's kind of what you were saying about the glowing of the floral. That stripe has that too.
Yeah, and it's just the way they've placed the colors really makes it, yeah, it's very cool. Very, very cool.
And this is going to go everywhere you see that dark gray or that black and white texture and on your border and your binding, which I love. I love putting my fabric 3 on the binding.
Yes.
Don't know why, it's just personal preference.
Yeah.
All right, so we have an image of this to share with you. And you can see just how well those stripes work in this pattern. You're not gonna have to worry about how they fall. They will fall perfectly every time, which is awesome.
Yeah, and that light purple works perfect in the background.
Yes.
And the flowers on the black just pop. Wow.
So beautiful.
It is really pretty.
All right, the kit information on this is Luminous Garden. And the pattern is Garden Path, which is available in the book Fast and Fun or as an individual.
Okay, we have some other really great fabric, and I really think this is pretty.
Yes.
This has a kind of a, well, it's a blue, purple, light blue background. I don't know what kind of background. I mean, it's got
multiple.
all these, yeah. And then the florals have these rich golds and reds. It's really pretty. And what's interesting is the artist of this fabric managed to get the brilliance of the jewel tones, but keep some earthiness in it.
Yeah.
Which I think is really great. So
very soothing.
it really, really is. So this is our focus fabric. It is going to go everywhere. You see the chickens here in this great big block, so you're going to get a really nice taste of this fabric because it's beautiful. Now our number 2, we have paired our focus with kind of a very soft gold beige. Is that how you would say that?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's very subtle. It has a lot of texture in it. So once again, when we say texture, that means there's lights and there's darks all together to create this kind of texture. That is going to go everywhere. You see the orange on this in the alternate block and in our border here. And I think it just pairs beautifully.
Kind of picks up that watercolor feel that we have in the focus.
It really, really does. Then for our punch, we're going to put it with a kind of a grainy texture that's a royal blue that is so gorgeous.
Gonna have tons of contrast.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes, and it picks up all those great blues in the background, which I love. You know, I like to look at my backgrounds and pick a color for my number 3 often that way.
Which I use that tip now too.
It's
when in doubt.
It works every time.
That's great too.
So this beautiful blue is going to go everywhere you see the little corner blocks here on an alternate block, as well as it's going to frame our quilt on that border and binding so perfectly. And you know, we were talking about the florals having those beautiful, they're kind of jewel tone colors, but it looks very earthy. And I think pairing it with that number 2 that has that texture that's also kind of earthy looks amazing.
Yes.
And that beautiful blue is just framing it perfectly, gives us the little touches in the center of the quilt. I think it just turned out great.
Yeah, very soothing, very comforting.
Yes.
And what a beautiful floral to have such a big swatch of.
Yes.
It looks great in those corner blocks too, breaking up that blue.
I really, really love this one. It's beautiful.
Now you know that any 3 yards works with any of our patterns, and you can see we have another Garden Path quilt on the wall behind us, so you can see even more examples of all the different types of fabrics you can use. I'm quite partial to that one. I'm not necessarily a pink person, but I really do like a good hot pink.
Yep.
As you can tell.
I think a hot pink is great as well. And I like that we've used a print as our number 2 on this particular one. So don't be afraid to use a print in your number 2 position. So it's a good example. All right, now let's get you the kit information on this beautiful floral kit here. It is called Sunset Blooms, and it is our Garden Path pattern, which is an individual, and also in our Fast and Fun book.
Another great thing about this pattern is you can use really large novelty prints.
Ah, that's a good tip.
Yeah, which is perfect when you're doing things like Christmas or Halloween or any other holiday. So we have a perfect Christmas kit for you.
This little guy's cute.
Isn't he? And he has different facial reactions. Some he's smiling, some he's surprised, some he's winking.
He's winking.
Got that little twinkle in his eye, just like Santa should have.
That's right.
And I love he's framed in these circles that are peppermint stripes.
Oh, that's so cute.
And this is going to go everywhere you see our chickens and these big blocks, so you really get a good big square.
Full of Santa.
Yes. And then we have a number, our number 2 is this white swirl, which I really like because it kind of gives this movement that, you know, peppermints kind of have a swirl, you know, stripey swirl.
And maybe Santa's beard.
Yes.
You know, that wonderful white fluffiness.
Yes. Perfect. I hadn't even thought of that one.
And I love how the red and white contrast.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. I'm quite partial to red and white for Christmas. It's just, I don't know, it's fun. I don't even eat candy canes very much, but I love the aesthetic of them. And we have that. That's going to go everywhere you see this orange. And then for our number 3, we have all of these different holiday treats on, I think they're cookies, like little Christmas cookies and candies. Fun. And that's on a nice black background, which adds a lot of contrast and picks up the black in Santa's belt.
It does. And I love that we've got a print on our number 3. But what's great is it's a smaller print because the number 3 is put in a little bit smaller block. So that's great. And I love that it has the black background, so it's really going to pop. Oh, can't wait to see this.
I know. And that's going to go everywhere you see this black right here. So let's show it to them.
It's so cute. I love the red, the white, and the black together. And for Christmas, this is so much fun. This is very playful.
So pretty. I love the way that contrasts with the number 3 and that red. And the size you were mentioning is really helpful too, I think, to add focus on where you want your attention to be drawn.
I think that you're spot on. I love it. All right, now for all of you that love to participate in our Quilt of the Month challenge, and we are so grateful that you are, we want to give you a special deal on the Garden Path pattern. It will be 10% off a downloadable pattern from our website. There is a code on the screen for you. Now, this code is valid from today through the end of October.
And let's get you this kit information. So for this gorgeous Santa kit, it's called Candy Cane Lane, and it's using the Garden Path pattern.
Okay, so we had a really fun Christmas kit. Now we're going to the party season, right?
Yes.
This is like New Year's Eve party.
Oh, yes, you're right.
But it's not really. It can be any time of year, but I really love the movement in this focus fabric for this next kit. Has little touches of gold, which you know I love.
And shine.
Yeah, and I like the color combination. I think it's very different, and I am loving all these purples.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So this has some purple, some pink, some black, the white background, gorgeous. That is going to go in our big block, so you've got lots of party going on your quilt here. And then for our number 2, we've picked up another purple to pull in the purples from our focus fabric. And once again, it has those lights and those darks in it, so it kind of gives you a lot of dimension. This is going to go everywhere you see the orange here, so it's going to be our background. Now for our number 3, we are pulling in those pops of black and gray, the little speckle, maybe that's the confetti flying through the air. Happy New Year! No.
Or if you're lucky enough to have snow on New Year's.
Oh, yeah.
Snow.
You know, every once in a while it'd be nice if it snowed in Texas at Christmas.
Happens, once in a blue moon.
Once a decade.
Yeah.
But I know there's a lot of you, a lot of you out there have lots of snow and said, I wish it wouldn't snow. And we're like, bring us snow. Okay.
Snow day.
It's kind of fun.
Snow days are very special here.
Yeah, they really are. Okay, so our number 3 fabric kind of reminds me of snow day, or confetti. So this is our black.
And it's glamour.
Oh, that's good too. So we have our squares here on our corners that will be our black, and then of course on the border that's going to frame it all beautifully. And this is a really fun one. I like it.
I love that. You were talking about using a color in your number 2. I think this one really works for that because our focus is on a white background.
Yes, so, and it kind of separates it and helps it pop a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I love that, okay, not everyone loves a floral, and this is a great print with a lot of movement that's not necessarily a floral. So I think it has a really interesting vibe to it, and it's lots of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Really,
I love
really
it. So pretty.
All right, let's get you some kit information. It is called Splendid Swirls, and once again, it's in our Garden Path.
All right, our next one combines both that metallic and a floral. So if you like both of those vibes, we have the perfect kit for you. And this one, we have this very elegant floral.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and the blues and the purples, and we've got some fancy kind of leaves in there.
And this is probably my favorite color combination. The blues, the greens, and the purples. Throw a little metallic on there, and it's really great. Oh, it's so pretty.
Mwah.
Yeah.
So this is gonna go everywhere you see your large square here with our chickens. And then in our number 2, it's a little difficult to see on camera, but it's this white on white filigree look, I guess, would you say?
It's very pretty.
Yeah, and it has a tiny sheen to it, like a pearlescent. It's not metallic, but it's got this soft glow to it.
It's very pretty. Yeah, sometimes I wish you could see them right here with us. I wish you could all come and see.
And see how beautiful it picks
It's really
up.
pretty.
And this is going to go everywhere you see our orange right here, so it'll be the perfect backdrop for this floral. And then our number 3 is this blue, also kind of a, I don't know if I'm using the term filigree right, but it's
kind of a clamshell shape, but it's kind of filigree-ish.
Yes, it's very elegant.
But it matches perfectly.
Yeah, and so it picks up all of these blues and the same kind of elegance movement, and it's also kind of directional.
It is, but it's gonna work.
Yeah, it'll be perfect. It's gonna go it's gonna turn all the way around, so they'll always be going the right direction. It'll work on your border, and I think that adds more movement to it too.
I agree.
So that's gonna go everywhere you see our black right here. I love the way that blue makes the floral just pop off the surface of the quilt.
I agree. It really does kind of marry it together, and it's just so great. And that nice, it's a really warm white, I think is great in the background. And it still gives you a little interest without being overpowering, because really, once again, we want to focus on the focus, and that's what this does.
Yes.
So pretty.
All right, your kit information for this one is Opulent Floral, and that's using our garden path pattern.
Okay, so this next kit is really fun. Now, you said you liked pink earlier.
I do.
Would you like a pink cat?
Yes. I would like a pink cat. I'd like a purple cat. I'd like a blue cat. I'll take them all. Just give me all of the cats.
Well, these cats are darling. And
So cute.
they're pink, and they have a little yellow on them. I think I would call them a calico, but in a special colorway.
Yes. Yep. And they have little designs on them too. There's a stripy one. There's a polka dot.
You're right. I didn't notice that. These are darling. This
So
is
cute.
absolutely darling. And if you'll notice, it is a directional fabric, and it's going to work perfect in our garden path pattern. So this darling fabric is going to go in this big square. So it's full of kitties and all the fun tree branches and colorful leaves and the little sprouts with the little balls on them. I don't know.
It's a kitty toy. It's
There
a
you go.
little bobble for the kitty to play with.
It's very cute. Lots of dimension here, lots of texture, lots of fun going on. So for our number 2, of course, we have to put a polka dot with it,
Yes.
because we have this off-white background with a pink polka dot that just coordinates perfectly. It's going to go everywhere the orange is, and it's keeping that playfulness. And then our number 3 is this not a fun fabric? Oh my goodness.
So cute.
It is so, so cute. It has all of the colors that match the kitty fabric. So it's got the jade greens, the pinks, the golds. It's just,
Bright green.
it's perfect.
Their little kitty eyes.
Oh, that's what it is. Oh, that's what it is. I love that. Okay,
But it's disguised, so it's just kind of like a stripe. Yes, subtle.
Very quiet. Okay. But this is also a little bit directional, but it's going to work. And I love this pattern for that. So this print is going to go in these small blocks here and then on our border to really frame it. And this is going to give us lots of texture. And I like this combination because we have a big print, a medium print, and our small polka dot for number 2.
Yeah.
And I think that really always helps to add extra interest to your quilt.
And keep it from being too busy. None of your fabrics are competing with each other.
That's correct, because when you have 2 prints that are the same size, unless they're totally separated, they do kind of do that. And in this case, it's perfect. You know, I think I would love a pink cat too.
I mean, it'd be so fun.
It would be so fun, and I love how it's in this big block so you can really see them. That number 3 fabric really gives lots of texture on the border.
And that number 2 works so perfectly with it. Being that smaller print, it still has a lot of interest and it has that bright pink in it, but it is small enough and it doesn't distract from your focus.
Yes, it's still a background. It still falls to the back, so I love it. All right, let's get you the kit information on this. It is called a Tabby Road, and this is our garden path pattern. We have received so many pictures from all of you of your quilts. It has been so inspiring.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna try to fit in as many as we possibly can. But if you don't see your photo in the video, be sure to check out our social media and YouTube community page. We post a lot of them up there too, so you can see all of these different quilts y'all are making. So our first quilt today is from Angie, and she made Skip to My Lou, which was our August challenge, and she did it all scrappy.
I love it, Angie.
Isn't that so fun? So many
It
different
is.
fabrics in her number 1 position.
It's so clever, and I love the way that we're getting so good at using our scraps and fat quarters and layer cakes.
Yes.
I love it in 3-yard quilts. Great job. Now Donna shared her quilt with us, and it's done in pinks and blues with the green border, and I love it. Has lots of contrast and fun.
And so happy, so cheerful.
It is so cheerful. Now Donna made this as a charity quilt, and I'm sure the recipient's going to love it.
Absolutely.
Love it, love it.
All right, now Mimi, she shared a little story that she had a miscut when she was cutting out her fabric number 1. So she just incorporated a 4th fabric, which I think is so great. I love problem solving at its best, Mimi. It's so beautiful.
It is really pretty. Love your color combinations.
Absolutely. And you know, she calls this quilt Butterfly Scape.
Oh, perfect. I see it. Now, Jerry Lou, she sent in this quilt. Her family calls her Lou, so she thought this was the perfect quilt to make. Of course.
Yeah.
Skip to my Lou and Lou, Jerry Lou. I love it.
We picked it just for you, Jerry Lou.
That's right. All 3 fabrics are 2-way directional and look great. So that's very clever that you were able to do that. Great job.
Now, Helen sent in this Star Wars quilt, and it's so fun. I love it. She said she made this as a charity quilt, and she's planning on making a donation quilt every month using our Quilt of the Month patterns.
Oh, Helen, thank you. We really appreciate that. We're so happy that we can play a part in that.
Oh, yeah.
We love giving quilts to charity, and you guys have such big hearts. We're so grateful for that. Now, Janet sent in this one. Wow, this is striking. Now, she used charm packs in her 4 patches. That is clever.
Very clever.
I love the way you guys are just taking your creativity to the next level. It is awesome.
And she changed up her borders too. So she had her charm packs, and it looks like the same number 2 for the whole thing.
Love it. Yeah, love it. It's great.
We also have a quilt that our very own Donna Holmes made, and it is so cute. I love the bright, cheerful colors that she used.
I do too. It's so refreshing.
Yeah, and I know that she used a lot of her batik scraps, and she didn't have quite enough to use the same ones for all of the blocks, so she just sprinkled a bunch of them in there and got such a fun color combination.
It is really fun, and I really love this pattern because you can do that, and then the sashing and the borders really kind of make it unified.
Yes.
It works so well.
All right, thank you to everyone who sent in your photos. We get lots of ideas from it ourselves. Frequently I get to see these quilts and I think, oh, maybe I need to make something like that.
I like this color combination, and we could change it like this. You guys, yeah.
Sometimes kits are even inspired by you as well.
Yes.
We see a really nice combo and it's like, oh, we need to get something like this. This is gorgeous.
I agree. So you're such a great inspiration. We appreciate you so much. Now, if you have a picture that you would like to send us of your finished quilt of the month, just send it to welisten@fabriccafe.com.
And if you would like to see all about our September Quilt of the Month challenge, be sure to check out the video that pops up.
It's Fran Morgan.
And Hannah with Fabric Cafe.
Happy quilting.